Welcome to the Chaotic Entrepreneur Podcast, where the only thing predictable is the unpredictability of business. We dive into unfiltered stories, bold moves, and messy middle of real entrepreneurship because success isn't neat, it's chaotic. Let's get into it. Okay, welcome back to the Chaotic Entrepreneur Podcast. Today we have Richard Blank, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself, and then we're going to dive into some questions about being in entrepreneurship and maybe beyond the chaotic side of entrepreneurship. Even I can't pronounce it today. So, Richard, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first, I'm a very thankful guest. It's great to be with you and your audience today, Kimberly.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, my background, I'm a long shot from Northeast Philadelphia. Unlike all my friends who became doctors and lawyers, I decided to be a Spanish major in college to see where that would take me. And at 27 years old, I was given a one in a million opportunity to move here for just a couple months and work at a friend's center and teach English. But I knew that this had the most fertile soil and I wanted to stay here. I felt great here and been
So
here since August of 2000.
let me interrupt you. Sorry. Where's here?
Here, oh, excuse me. I'm here in Central America in Costa Rica.
So exciting. So yeah, that is a big change. So you said you've been there since 2000. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, I'm very glad that you asked for clarification. You know, Kimberly, sometimes in life you got to get past parents' guilt. Uh, People can make your life chaotic if they want to put you in boxes and give you limitations. And growing up, I guess you had to graduate the right school, take the right major, marry the right person, and do certain jobs. And that sounds great on paper, and it looks good on the Hallmark Channel and in movies and stuff. But there comes a day you wake up, and it's almost like the Talking Head song, Once in a Lifetime. You're saying, how did I even get here? And that always concerned me. I knew to follow certain rules. I mean, you don't want to get in trouble. But when it came to the long plan, I wanted it to be me. I mean, give me the colors, let me paint the picture. And so I knew that Spanish opened doors. It was something I was passionate about, which made my life less chaotic, where I could practice it outside the classroom. So I had a hobby, an activity, something I was growing at, something that was positive. And the reinforcement, it was incredible. The Latinos by giving me some vocab words to take with me or adjusting my grammar. And so at 27, let's say as a boxer, I was ready. I just didn't know what I was getting myself into. And so when I did move to Central America, which is still close to home, couple hours direct flight, north of Panama, south of Nicaragua, it's a safe place with democracy and things. And so I knew that I could give it a chance. And I fell in love, married the girl of my dreams. And 19 years ago, I threw my hat in the ring and started a business. And when you're not at a home court advantage, sometimes you need to bring certain people on your team and take advice. And I was just willing to be very open-minded during those years.
Well, I think that's amazing. I know that you've been there for 25 years because 2000 is 2005 or
Awesome.
2025.
That's
And
right.
I have a kid that's born in 2000. So I can always know at a drop of a hat exactly, like, depending on when it is in that year, how old he is. Because people are like, "Oh, I'm so surprised you can remember that so quickly." I'm like, it's really easy. It's like it's kind of cheating,
Yeah, of course.
because it's easy to remember. So that's awesome. Well,
Right?
I want to throw out some questions for you. So entrepreneurship, really today, I can't say that word. I don't know why. Why did I name my podcast Chaotic Entrepreneur if I can't even pronounce it? But it's fine. It's fine. Entrepreneurship can feel like organized chaos or sometimes not so organized chaos. But what is your relationship with chaos in your business? Is it a friend, a foe, or a frenemy?
I see chaos kind of like the burn in the gym. In order to grow your muscles, you need to get that like runner's high. And so you have to push yourself past the 9 to 5 level or what your supervisors or coworkers expect of you. When you are the captain of the ship, the apex, the lead dog, you got to make sure that your game is tight. It's almost like when you used to laugh at a teacher if they ever made a mistake. Well, I'm also human. It's not like I'm making tons of mistakes, but I want them to know that I have the guts to try. I'm vulnerable because I'm doing it in front of you. And I'm willing to raise my hand and be the first one in. And by having that sort of attitude, you're just increasing odds. You're not going to bat 1,000. You're not Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I tell you what, you're going to have a pretty good record. And the people that are around you are going to respect you for at least stepping up for yourself and trying things and doing it in an educated way. This is not a fool or clown time. I'm using what I've learned in the past and the questions I've asked currently in order for more clarification. You're getting too old for this. I'm 53 years old and I need to shave certain fat and just focus on the game. And it maturity helps as well, my friend, because when you when you need to make big boy decisions where you have to suck in your pride and make a phone call and apologize for overextending yourself or not understanding someone's position, that's a very nice thing because if someone receives it well, you have a better foundation of a relationship. You can chaos equals character.
I
And so you
love
really get
that.
to see what somebody is made of during the the chaos. And so I like making that sort of the friendship phone call and trying to make nice. And I like to not as a weakness say I'm sorry. But Kimberly, if our relationship is important enough, I'm going to let you know I raised my voice. I wasn't respectful of your time. I didn't understand what you're going through at the moment. Or as a friend, I just sold out. I didn't do the right thing. And so, um, how nice to be able to do self reflection. And that's only going to calm multiple storms that you may come across.
Oh, I love that. Chaos builds character. Chaos equals character. I love that. So tell me a time, I cannot talk today. Tell me a time when chaos took the wheel in your business, but the outcome was surprisingly great. So like you had a happy accident.
So many times. Maybe the first time when I launched the website of October of 2007, landed my first account February 6th of 2008. Hey man, lights, camera, action. It's the real thing
Yeah.
now. So that was a good wake up call. Maybe when I lost my largest client back in 2010 and I went from like 90 seats down to four, that was a reality check. It makes you humble. Character
Yes.
during chaos. How did you handle yourself? And then COVID was an eye opener too, because we went from on site brick and mortar high five in Kimberly to everyone being virtual now. It's a blessing. I didn't go
Yeah.
out of business, but it completely removed the synergy that you might have between people, and especially in a linguistic environment where it's artistic, you can feed off of energy and learn from people. And even a bilingual environment, which is higher education, imagine the depth of vocabulary and structured grammar you're getting on site. But whatever, this is what it is. It's the
Yeah.
buggy whip.
Yes.
So when you talk about chaos and you're talking about character and growing, I mentioned certain things at certain white, yellow, brown stages of my belts. And right now in the black belt stage is pretty much putting everything in the cloud, sending everybody home, and being, in my personal opinion, if I may, a print. Because I used to be a beautiful painting. I collected pinball machines. I would walk the rows. I would break bread with the people. That's the best bonding ever. It's such a transfer of electromagnetic energy. It's true. And right now, yeah, it's nice to see Billy. I don't see Billy anymore. He doesn't
Right.
come in the office. And so say what you want. As a leader, I think it's really hampered my ability to have my own momentum. And it's the Richard Magic does, the stuff that I guess made me special and unique when I was here. That allowed me to actually have a business because there was some sort of thing on the menu people wanted.
Right. No, yeah, I totally understand that. I can feel that too I mean, I have a team, but they are virtual.
Yeah,
And it just makes it a little bit harder. You can't love on them in person as well as you can from afar. So
that's right.
what's a daily habit that keeps you grounded when things get chaotic?
Oh, I start my day by hitting the gym. I'm fortunate to have a home gym, universal machine, flat bench, free weights, and a couple cardio machines, but it's enough. I don't have a
Yeah.
Smith machine or other special stuff at World's Gym, but I have the luxury of rolling out of bed, getting some coffee, walking next door to my bodega, and enjoying my mornings. And so that allows me to start my day very, very strong. And I also collect pinball machines. So I have 11 machines in that area as well.
How
So that's,
exciting.
yeah, pinball marathons and washing my convertible car. I mean, these are the sort of
Yeah.
things that it's my own personal meditation that allows me to release steam.
Yeah, I like that. I really, really like that. Pinball machines, that's fun. I work in a co-working space and we actually have a skee ball. I think that's what it's called, machine.
Oh, fun.
Like, like you would play when you were growing up when I was at Chuck E. Cheese. And so
Chuck
I
E.
love
Cheese.
that every now and again, if I'm like stuck and I just need, well, first I will go outside personally, but if I just need some like a release or something like that, I'll go in and it doesn't cost us anything. It's actually in the room right next to me, which is their golf simulator, but I'll go in there and I will
Interesting.
just throw a couple balls, see if I can get, how high I can get. And it just kind of like loosens you up. And so really for me, I think it's moving when things get chaotic. I know I need to like step away, do something different, and then be able to come back and just like, okay, now I can take care of this. Now I can do this. So what's the funniest or most memorable mistake you made while running your business? And what did you learn
Hmm.
from it?
Well, with a client, one time my car ran out of gas in the rain. We had to push it to a gas station in
Okay,
a
so
suit.
that's pretty funny.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? But
Yeah.
this guy was one of the nicest guys ever, so we were just kind of laughing at it and enjoyed the moment. But yeah, I guess that was the funniest thing that could have happened to me there.
What did you learn from that? I mean, me, I would have learned to make sure I feel you say yours and then I'll say what I would do.
I think the most obvious thing is the gasoline. The second thing was I was so preoccupied with distraction that I didn't notice about the most basic thing, which was the gasoline. And
Hmm.
so I had to remind myself to look down from time to time. You might fall into a hole. Just
Yeah.
not keep it your eyes taking a suntan and enjoying
Yeah.
it. So it was a great wake up call. The fact I'm telling it on a podcast, I learned my lesson. That's not going to
Yes.
happen again.
Exactly. Especially with, a client, when you're in the middle of, being with a client and having that happen. Now, personally, I learned when I was younger how not to run out of gas is I started doing it once a week, whether it's half full or, like almost out once a week, every Tuesday, I fill up
Mhm.
my car just because you never know if someone's going to be available there to like bail you out. Is that I just always make sure that I have, I fill up my car once a week, no matter, like I said, whether it needs it really or not. And then I also wash my car once a week. But I'm not like you and wash it by hand. I actually just take it to the car wash place.
I was raised on that. You bring up a good point. When I have gotten flat tires, and I've gotten many because there are certain potholes in the roads here,
Yes.
people will come from the bus stop, stop their car, come out of their houses, bring jacks, trying to assist. And how nice. I've never had a single time where a person wasn't willing to lend a hand immediately. And I
That
really
is
like
so
that. It's
nice.
everyone takes care of each other. Yes.
And I think that does help with the culture difference between here and there. A lot of times I feel because I have another friend that lives in Costa Rica as well. And she says the cultural difference is it's just you'd be surprised that they're a lot more laid back
Mm,
and go with the flow in
mhm.
her experience, she says. And I could assume that like we in America, a lot of times we can be like, go, 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 and not looking for those opportunities to help others. And sometimes you just got to take a chance to just kind of step back and see what others around you need assistance with. So when you feel overwhelmed or stuck, what's your go-to move to reset your mindset or regain your clarity?
I'll definitely answer that question, but real quick on what you said earlier, Costa Rica
Okay.
has an expression, pura vida, which means pure life. It is laid back. And the go,
Yeah.
go, go that we have in North America, in the United States, is the sort of, in my mind, a competitive advantage when it comes to business or any sort of thing. I mean, we go to the distance. We ground out our yards for first downs. And I love that about how we were raised ethically in regards to winning and putting in the time. It's nice. Not
Hmm.
saying Costa Ricans don't do it, but let's just see what happens here. I was able to be successful in a business. And so obviously I think that extra hours and more accountability makes a difference. And I guess finally, Costa Rica has its own culture. And so once again, it's a Catholic country. Most everybody speaks Spanish, and they have a lot of the same traditions, not just Super Bowl
Mm.
Sunday or certain things we have in the States, which is a beautiful thing. I agree with that. But this is something that once again, as you say, people are laid back with each other. It's because they're not in fear of one another and they know what to expect. As I mentioned, assisting with a flat tire or neighbors with the kiss on the cheek because everyone knows Don Jorge in the neighborhood. And um,
Hmm.
hey, Kimberly, it's like going back in time. It's like the 1950s, the way people treat each other. And it's a beautiful thing to see. It's very cordial with social grace. And I like seeing things like that. I just think in the United States, there's nothing wrong with it, but a lot of people come from a lot of different places and have a lot of different ideas. And that's fine. But there's so many crisscrossings compared to parallels. It makes it sometimes difficult. Here, everyone seems to have everything in common. And so I've seen it
Yes.
like that. So what does Richard do to remove the chaos? An activity would not help because that would seem monotonous and boring. So what I kind of like to do, like if you're ever that person that takes a journey, it's okay from time to time to stop, turn around, and see how far you've come on your trail.
Oh, so
And
good. Yes.
I love that. I love brick by brick buildings. I like if you ever fold a lot of clothes, you're like, man, I just did a lot of work. I mean, I sometimes like to see that's why when you say, Richard, your car, yeah, Kimberly, my car. Why? Because when I'm done, I can literally touch and see my work compared to something on
Yes.
paper or virtual. And so I'm really into that sort of thing, even with the gardening and cleaning up around. But I like to control a couple different things that allow me to put my energy into it for an hour and then step back and know that I have accomplished something, even if it's something as basic as washing a car or playing pinball. But
I love
I like to
that.
turn around and see how far I've come. So I will watch older videos or look at older emails and see how I've changed in regards to the relationship with the clients. I'll read older scripts and realize that I liked what it was at the moment, but as a musician, sometimes you can play other tunes or increase it.
Hmm.
So I've seen a change in tone and vocabulary, and I've lost more hair. So I see that, and that's fine. But it's a nice thing. I don't dwell on it, but I'd like to at least see the mountains I've scaled. I have to look back from time to time to remind myself that where I am today seemed impossible 10 years ago. And now I'm here. So
Yes.
everyone just needs to calm down. And so it's okay to stop, do a 360, reset,
Hmm.
and then move forward. So at least you kind of understand your current surroundings.
I love that. I love that. If you could give your past self one piece of advice about handling chaos in business, what would you say?
Oh, so simple, Kimberly. Just not to be hard on yourself.
I love that.
It was kind of cool in The Color of Money. Forrest Whitaker sees Fast Eddie, Paul Newman, and playing pool. Forrest Whitaker whoops him and says, listen, should I lose some weight? I know what he's saying. It's not that he was losing tummy weight. It's losing this pressure weight on yourself.
Hmm.
Imagine back in school when you used to sweat that composition or that exam or that first date or in athletics going against the championship team. I would rather replace that energy with being bold. I think
Yeah.
it's a terrible thing to psych yourself out or to let your friends, these people that love you, but they might be negative Nancy's or Debbie Downers, or just because no one in my family spoke Spanish, no one in my family moved to Costa Rica, and no one in my family started a call center. They can't give me any advice. And so a lot of it is
Right.
just preventative compared to curing. And I understood their position. I just didn't agree with it. And so my friend with chaos, I'm just removing layers of this soot and this dirt and whatever you want to keep throwing on top of me until I can be raw and pure. And if you have that, you're light, which means you move fast and you can fly. Sabes, I kind of like sometimes the berserker warrior, the Nordic warrior. These people used to take hallucinogenics, strip down to nothing and just run in the snow with their weapons. And so imagine that sort of image to their opponent. This is someone that is as free, where there's nothing that could hurt them in regards to any sort of judgment. How liberating. It's almost like when
Yes.
people do beautiful tattoos or express themselves with certain hair designs or clothes. I love that. If as long as it's not offensive, I think when people spread their wings and really show their feathers and show expression, that's a wonderful thing to be that self-confident, to then be so full internally that you have extra to give and paying it forward. And so I hope I answer your questions in my roundabout way. You just get your
Oh,
yes so
no, I
comfortable
love
where they
it.
just start talking.
No, I
Yeah.
love it. Well, we have one final question. It's a quick fire question. So I want you to complete this sentence. Being an entrepreneur is like blank because blank. So being an entrepreneur is like because, and then so you can finish the sentence.
It's like warm butter. It goes on everything. And it's
There you
easy to
go.
cut. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like warm butter. So any knife can cut it. Being an entrepreneur, you have to be somewhat crazy. Not Michael Myers knife welding crazy or Freddy in Friday the 13th or something, or
Yeah.
Jason. But you need to see it as a romantic, almost renaissance. And sometimes you need to walk alone because the herd doesn't believe that way. And it's okay to have safety, but this is about taking risks. And the risks you're taking is how much you love yourself and believe in yourself. And when you get those rainy Wednesdays or that 80% that wants to quit and doesn't have the 20 to continue and the second guessing, those are the best stories to tell when you have made it. The times when you almost quit, or the times when you literally were down to your last $5 and you had to figure something out. And you ask yourself this question: how do I want to live with myself? I can always make that $5 back and I can go work somewhere else, but how do I want to end this chapter? Am I going to do it dying with my boots on and having a romantic death? Or am I going to cower in the corner and cry? And so what you're doing sometimes, Kimberly, is allowing yourself to shed some skin and really see what you're made of at that moment, especially when these are self-inflicted bullies that you have, or these weird demons
Yes.
that you carry with yourself. And so I guess I needed to get away from the United States and Philadelphia, and I love my friends and family, but I kind of needed to be by myself in order to see really who I am. And most people don't have the time or the resources or just the idea of even where to start. And I don't even know even what advice to give them. I just knew that sometimes you have to get past certain guilt, and maybe you might make some decisions which others seem as selfish, but you see it as self-preserving. It's true because you have your private moments when your head hits the pillow, Kimberly, and you got to look at yourself in the mirror. I mean, yeah, you love yourself, and I want you to keep loving yourself, not footloose, fancy free. Oh my goodness gracious, you sometimes need to have a dessert with your dinner, and you need to drink life a little bit. And I just decided to go all in, and maybe the stars were aligned. This should have never happened. Let's call it as it is. And I started my business just with cash, and I kept paying rent and the overhead and making a margin, and never overextended, no partners. I used computers so I could scale. I did it
Hmm.
slow like grandma and grandpa taught us to do. It's not glamorous, damn it. If you want to be an entrepreneur, I mean, what is in your kitchen? What is under the hood? There's sometimes grease and you get dirty. You just show the presentation, which is beautiful, and you make it look easy. And so going back to not being hard on yourself, just take into consideration what you're asking yourself to do. And if you can take it with a good pace and a good stride and deep breaths, I don't know, Kimberly, maybe you and I can make the long game. We can actually make it through. Boxers do get 12 rounds. I mean, come on, some of this stuff is not the first round knockouts. And so always think of the long plan. And if you have that in your mind, then there's a very good chance you might make it.
Oh, I love that. Well, I appreciate you so much coming on our podcast and letting our listeners hear your great advice and analogies, amazing analogies that you've had today. So I appreciate it so much. Thank you
Yeah.
for imparting your wisdom on us. And I'm very excited to see what the listeners say about this episode. But where can
Me
people find
too.
you?
Well, when it gets really cold up north, why don't you buy a ticket and fly to Costa Rica and come visit? I
Yes,
would
I do have a
recommend.
friend. Like I said, I do have a friend that lives down there, so I'm planning on it, but probably not till next year. I still
I
have
got you.
I still have teenagers at home. But where can people find you besides in Costa Rica? Where can they find you online?
Of course, Kimberly. Well, you can look us up at Costa Rica's callcenter.com. And if any of your audience, if they all they have to say is I'm friends with Kimberly, yeah, send me a script, send me some rebuttals. I'll definitely give my advice and opinion on the tone of the calls that you're making and receiving. It's my pleasure to pay it forward.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much. That's a wrap for this week on The Chaotic Entrepreneur. Remember, you don't need a perfect plan, just a bold first step. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who's ready to shake things up. Until next time, stay bold and stay chaotic.